The purpose of this video I'm making is to help you realize who you truly are. I want to show you, present you with the possibility, with the truth, that you are God. Yeah. I know it sounds strange to say that. Who would think of such a thing? It sounds like a delusion an egotistical person would have. It sounds like something that would piss some people off to say that. Think about why that is. Who would be most upset by something like this, a statement like this? I would think religious people, biblical people would be upset by this, most of all. Now think about why that is. Why would religion want to extract God out of you and place it above someplace, and then present you with instructions on how to have contact with God that is outside of you? That's what they say, right? You read the instructions, you read the Bible, and it'll help you go to heaven. Now, what is that all about? How would someone want to control you if they wanted to do so? They would use a carrot and stick. Now, what's the most extreme carrot and stick you can think of? You do as I say, you follow my instructions. After you die, you will have the ultimate pleasure for all of eternity. And if you don't listen to what I say, the ultimate stick, you'll get absolute misery for all of eternity. Right? That's what they say, isn't it? When they knock on your door, they say, if you die today, do you know where you will go? This is how they control you. There's been lots of conspiracies in this world, but this, I want to tell you, is the granddaddy of all conspiracies. It's the biggest one of all. It's the biggest lie you've ever been told. And I want to expose it to you today. And I want to replace it with the truth. Now, I can't force this upon you. I can guide you on this path. But if you want it, you're going to have to walk it yourself. You're going to have to make the intention yourself to realize this truth. So I want you to try something. I want you to say to yourself the statement, I am God. As strange as it sounds right now, I'm going to show you that that is the truth. And realizing it is going to change fundamentally the way you think about life and the way you live. Now, one technique I'm going to present you with today, it has to do with the tendency of the mind to answer any question you present to it. It's like a cosmic Google. You pose any question to your mind, consistently and persistently, you're going to get an answer to it. And you do this in a way, when you do get an answer, ask a follow-up question, and then another one. You'll eventually get to the question, who am I? So I can save you a lot of time and direct you to start off with that question. Make that the question you begin with. Pose the question, who am I? And hold it in your heart, contemplate it, and seek its answer. And the reason people get discouraged with this technique is they don't do it long enough. You have to be consistent with it. You might take you days or even weeks. Keep holding this question in your heart and ask it, who am I? Really? Better yet, who's asking the question? Alan Watts would put it this way. Who is it that wants to know? Now, the traditional path to enlightenment is most commonly meditation. And what are you doing while you're meditating? Let's say you're paying attention to your breathing, and every time you get distracted by a thought, you gently bring your attention back to your breathing again. And as you practice this, for a while, you will gradually get to a point that you won't get distracted by thoughts anymore. Now, why is this important? Because thoughts are concepts, and they get in the way of you realizing who you are. You see, the self is not a thing. It's not an object. It's not a concept. It's not something you can learn about by reading books. It can maybe point you the way. But the self is something that you can only realize not by thinking about it, but by being it. You can only be who you are. That's why they say if during meditation you can pass 8 seconds without a thought in your mind, you will have attained enlightenment. Now, this also it takes tedious work. Meditating. You can do that. I do recommend it, that you do meditate. I have a video on my playlist about that. While you're doing that, if you can also get to that goal without going through the work, you should do it. I'm going to show you how. You can't fill a cup that's already filled. So to attain our goal, I want to share with you a technique where you can empty your cup. Now, what is this cup filled with? From the moment you can understand language, you're bombarded with information, concepts again, that fill your mind. You go to school, you're filled with concepts. You go to university, you do research, you go to lectures, you read textbooks. And all these concepts feed your model of reality. And in order for you to get to the goal of realizing who you are, you're going to have to let go of this reality, this model that you have. Now, let's say you subscribe to the scientific model, which I do also. Let's say you believe that you live on a planet, you're a human being on a planet orbiting a sun. And this all came about, there was a big bang, stars formed, galaxies formed, planets formed around the suns, the stars, and life evolved on some of these planets. And life developed to more and more complex forms until humans were formed, and you are one of these humans. Now, what I want you to do is to take this entire shebang, this whole model that you have, and set it aside momentarily. Don't worry, you won't lose it. Just set it aside for a moment. The whole thing. And see what's left underneath it. Take whatever's left, gather the pieces, whatever's left underneath it, and set that aside also. And keep repeating this until you're left with nothing, absolutely nothing at all. Put aside everything until all you have left is you. Now the final technique I want to share with you, I call it the eyeball technique, where if you can imagine while you're meditating, you're paying attention, your attention is coming out of an eyeball. And if you can turn this eyeball in on itself, to look at itself, turn it back all the way, to look at where is this attention coming from. Look straight at the source of the attention of your mind. Look straight back at yourself and stare at it. Be gentle with this, but be persistent. And use all of these techniques I have given you today. Use the ones that work best for you. And when you can, find a place where no one can hear you. And say to yourself, I am God. And see if you can do that without being ashamed. I am God.